Hey everyone, Amy here from Transform at Amy Burke Yoga, and I'm here with our A to Z series, and we're on to the letter C. And so I thought of a lot of words that would be really great to talk about, of communication and compassion. But the word that really stuck out to me this week when I was really meditating was commitment. And commitment is something that can go either way. So you can have a tendency to overcommit, or you can have a tendency to have a hard time committing to things. And for me, I can sway either way. Sometimes I find that I'm overcommitting for things and I'm saying yes to things, and then it all looks good on paper, and then when it actually comes around to it, I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? And then on the other hand, sometimes it's really hard to commit to things, and you have to start asking yourself the deeper questions of why you're having a hard time committing. And what it really comes down to, either way, whether it's overcommitting or undercommitting, is it comes down to fear. So with being overcommitting yourself, it is often fear that you're going to lose out on something, or you're going to miss an opportunity, or you're going to disappoint someone. So it really does come down to, oh, we got friend Dexter coming in here. It comes down to like disappointing someone or disappointing your kids, and so you overcommit to everything, you say yes to everything, and then you end up that you're just totally overwhelmed and you can't handle things. And then with fear of commitment, that is asking why do you feel afraid? What's stopping you from committing to something? Even with your health and wellness journey, when you think about it, how often have you been like, oh yeah, I want to do that new workout routine, but you're afraid to actually commit, or you want to join a studio or a gym and you're afraid to make that commitment because you're afraid of failure. Really, it's fear of failure. So it's all like fear based. But those are just questions that you have to ask yourself. And a lot of times the message today is that when you are prone to overcommitting, take that moment and really pause and ask yourself, before saying yes right away, go home and look at your calendar. Go home and ask yourself, like, is this really going to benefit me in the long run? And why am I committing? Am I committing because I don't want people to look at me and judge me and be like, oh, she didn't commit, or I'm afraid that, I'm going to lose out, or my children are going to lose out? So ask yourself those questions and ask, is it really reasonable for you to be committing to so many things? Even I watch kids with like being on multiple teams and afraid, like, if they don't join these teams that they're going to be, not the superstar that they want to be. And that creates a lot of pressure, and then you're overcommitting and you're totally burnt out and overwhelmed. And then on the flip side, thinking about when you're having a hard time committing to something, ask yourself, why are you having a hard time committing? Like, you're going to join, let's just use yoga. You're going to join a yoga training program, or you're going to join a studio and buy a monthly membership. And really, it's just like fear of committing to something and having to be accountable to it, right? So if you don't commit to it, then you don't have to be accountable to it, and you don't have to fail. It's really fear of failing. So the message today with overcommitting is pause and ask yourself if it's going to benefit you. And the same thing when you're afraid of committing, ask yourself, why are you afraid of committing? Are you afraid that you're going to fail? Or are you afraid that you're going to be lacking? Like you decide to take on this new diet or this new eating plan, and you're afraid that you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to have enough food. You're going to be restricted. And what emotions are associated with all of that? So always ask yourself, like, what is the emotion that I'm really feeling, and where am I feeling it in my body? And those are really helpful things. I know for myself, I've been working on committing myself, commitment, to pausing, whether it's saying yes to something or whether it's I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger and committing to something. So I always step back and I have to sit with myself and I have to say, I can't be all things for all people, and I really have to nourish myself. And I ask you to ask yourself that too. It's important for you to nourish yourself, and it's important for you to have downtime, and we don't have to fill all the spaces with all the things. And if you're having a hard time committing, then you just have to ask yourself, like, what is the real root cause of why don't you want to commit, and what are you afraid of? So I hope this helps, and stay tuned. I'm going to be going through the whole alphabet, obviously, and I'll get to D this week sometime. So have a great day. I hope you're just enjoying this weather, and don't be afraid to commit, and also don't feel like you have to overcommit. All right, take care. Namaste.